this sweater you will need mohair type of yarn or other lace weight, or 2 strands holding at the same time, or you can use a DK weight yarn that matches gauge. 3.5mm hook, or the one you reach gauge with, a darning needle, at least 5 locking stitch markers or similar, and scissors. To begin, we will attach our yarn to the hook. So make a loop and then attach. Leave a tail that you can use for seaming the ribbing. And then we will chain 16. So yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through. Now we have our 16 chains, and we will continue to work in the back bumps. So in the second the back bumps are here, you turn your chains over and then they are here. So in the second back bump, single crochet. So then you insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop and pull through all loops on the hook. And continue all the way across. And then in the end of the row, chain 1 and turn. The next row we will work in the back loops, so when you look at the row from above, you see the front loop and the back loop, and we will go through only the back loop. So we will make a single crochet in the back loop, and in every back loop across. And in the end of the row, chain 1 and turn. You'll then continue to repeat row 2 until this neckline ribbing is as long as many rows as required for your size. See the patterns for more details. Then when you reach the final row, you put a locking stitch marker in your working yarn, and then you fold your neck ribbing like this. And we will now sew the short sides. So we take our darning needle and we will stitch these together. I'll do that using the mattress stitch. So I'll go through both loops here from the inside, pull through, and then on the other side here from the inside, both loops, pull through, and like that all the way across. So you use the tail you left in the beginning for the seam. Like that, and then I weave in the end a bit. We now have our neckline ribbing like this, but we want it as a double brim. So then we will fold it like this. So we fold, kind of make it, fold it, so it's halved, like this. To keep it in shape, I like to use stitch markers. So I make sure to match the rows. And put stitch markers through both sides. and continue all the way around. And I leave my tail here on the inside, the one I used for seaming. Like this. And then we're ready to start with the raglan part. But first we will close the neckline by making single crochet around. So I took away the stitch marker from my working yarn, and then I'll insert my hook, so I'll go through both sides like this. So I'm now through both sides, and then I'll make a single crochet. Mark the first single crochet with a stitch mark, and then I'll continue to make single crochets in every row around, but in every third there will be 2 single crochets. So that's 1 in that row, and then 2, and then this is the third, so then I will make 2 in the same stitch. And then 1 in next row, 1 in next row, and then again 2 in the same. And continue like that all the way around. Now we've reached the final stitch of the row, and we're ready to join to the first stitch with a slip stitch. So remove the stitch marker, insert my hook in the first stitch, yarn over, pull through. We'll be ready to begin row 1 of the raglan. This row that we made the single crochets now, that's our right side row, so our next row will be a wrong side row. So we'll begin by chaining 1, 2, and then turn. We will begin the row with a V stitch, so that will make a double crochet first, yarn over, insert. Here it's important also that you go through the first stitch, so that is the first stitch, so it's straight after the chains. So to make the double crochet, yarn over, insert the hook in the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook. That's also our first stitch of the row around, so I always mark that with a stitch mark. And then to continue the V stitch, we yarn over or chain 1, and then we make a double crochet in that same stitch like that. And then I always mark that chain space with a stitch marker, so it's easy to find. And then we're ready to continue the row, and we will continue with 13 double crochets for this size. Then we'll make a V stitch again. That's a double crochet, chain 1, and then a double crochet in that same stitch. Mark the chain space with a stitch mark. And then we'll continue, and now on this row, or this section, we will make our bubble stitches. But first we'll make double crochet. Now we'll make make a bubble stitch. So to make a bubble stitch, you yarn over, insert your hook in the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 of the loops on the hook, and then repeat that so you have a total of 6 loops on the hook. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, insert your hook in the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, insert the hook in the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook. And now we have 6 loops on the hook. So we yarn over and pull through all 6 loops on the hook. And then we'll make a double crochet. And then again a bubble stitch. And then a double crochet. And then again a bubble stitch and a double crochet, and this repeat will be repeated for X number of times. And then we will continue with our double crochets until the end of that section, and then we'll again repeat the section we made here and here until we reach the end here, and then I'll show you how we join and start the next row here. Yeah, and I'll show you the bubble stitches is shown then here on the other side. They are shown on the right side. So on the wrong side you can't see them that much, but then on the right side they pop out. So you slip stitch to join after the first row, or first raglan row. Slip stitch to the first stitch, and then also to the chain space, then chain 2 and turn, and then make your first stitch here in the first, stitch, and then we'll just make double crochet around, and this will just be a double crochet all the way around, but of course in the V stitches you will make V stitch, so that's why we marked it with the chain space with the stitch marker, so you know you can make the, or you should make the V stitch here in the chain space. What's important is that you always make sure to get the correct number of stitch before the V stitch in all these 4 sections, and then I'll show you how to join here when we finish this row. So I just want to mention, so you basically made the first 2 stitches in the slip stitches you made on the previous round. So to join on the right side row, you ended the row with a V stitch. So then you just simply make a slip stitch here where you have your stitch marker, which is the first stitch of the row, like that, and then you chain 2 and turn, and then we will begin our wrong side row. So we will jump to the V stitch here, meaning that you basically skip these 2. You will be working in these in the end of the row instead. There's many different types of ways to join, but I find that this gives a really neat join that you can hardly see it here, so that's why I like to do that. So now we just skip until the chain space of the V stitch and begin with the V stitch. And then just continue our row with our double crochets. And bubble stitches and V stitches. And then I'll show you how to join when we reach the end of the wrong side row. So now I'll show you how to join on the wrong side row. So I have 2 stitches. I need 2 more stitches for this to match up. But as you see, it looks like I only have 1 stitch left. I'll make that one. Now I still have one stitch left to place before I join here. In the beginning of this row we skipped and jumped straight to the V-stitch. So here we kind of have a space between our chains and the V-stitch. And it's here in the middle. If you look, then there, that's our V-stitch from the beginning, or that we skipped, or the first stitch that we skipped in the beginning of the row to make the V-stitch. So now we will make our final stitch in that. Like that. And then you just join to the first stitch of the row with a slip stitch. Making sure to keep both strands. And then chain 2 and turn. And then you just continue the row like there's our first double crochet. And continue. Then the join looks like this. I'll put it down so you can see it better. So you will have a tiny hint that this is the joining row, but it's not a big difference towards compared to a row where we don't join. That's why I like this joining method. So we're just about to join on the final row of the raglan. This final row is a wrong side row. You see the bubbles are there on the inside, so we join. And then chain 2 and turn. So now we're first going to simply just crochet along the edge here until we reach the V-stitch. When you reach the V-stitch, make a double crochet in the V-stitch. Then we'll chain, so I'll chain 8 for mine. And that's 8. And then I'll skip this section and join to the next V-stitch. So I'll make a double crochet in the V-stitch. So these are now connected like this. And then I'll continue to crochet along this edge until next V-stitch. So when you reach this V-stitch, you make a double crochet in the V-stitch, then again chain. Then you skip this part and make a double crochet in the next V-stitch. And then you join to the first stitch of the round, the slip stitch, and chain 2 and turn. So you've now connected. You again have this opening here. This will be our sleeves, and now we go around for the body. So for the next row, you will just simply continue with double crochet all in every stitch around, including here in the chains you made. And as I always recommend, mark the first stitch of the row round with the stitch marker so you know easily where to join. And then just simply continue with double crochet all the way around. And then in these chains when you reach them, and then you just join there. So you basically have this round, or you have this round where you can now just crochet, double crochet. And we will repeat rows of double crochet until the sweater is at our preferred length minus the ribbing. When you've made the body until your preferred length, or according to the length in the pattern, it's time for the ribbing. So for the ribbing we will chain 11. So we joined after our final row and then we chain 11. And then just like on the neckline ribbing, we will begin in the second chain from the hook with a single crochet. So that's again in the back bumps. And then single crochet all the way across our chains. And then when we made single crochet in all our chains, we will join to the body with slip stitches. So we will make slip stitches in the 2 next stitches on the body. So that's that and that stitch. So 1, 2, then I usually chain 1. You can skip it if you find that it makes holes. And then we turn. And then now we will skip our slip stitches and single crochet in the back loop here on the ribbing. So we skip that 1, 2, and then here in the third we make single crochets in the back loop all the way across. And then chain 1 and turn. And then we again make single crochets in the back loop. So it will be 10. Like that. And then we again make the slip stitches here on the body. So on the next two stitches, so that's 1 slip stitch, 2, and then chain 1 and turn. And we repeat those 2 rows all the way around the body of the sweater. And then the ribbing for the sleeves are made in the same way. When you reach the final stitch here, you cut the yarn and then you seam the sides here together. So the short sides here that meet, you seam them together. I'll show that later on. So when you've made the ribbing all the way around, it's time to seam it. So I ended with my yarn here. That's just because I only had 1 stitch left here before they met. So I only made 1 slip stitch and worked the row up and then cut my yarn off. But if you have 2 slip stitches left, then you'll end here and then you'll sew from here to there. I'll be using the mattress stitch for my seam. So I will go under both of the loops here on that stitch, like that. And then over to the other side, going under both loops. So it's always from the inside out. And then you just continue like that all the way. To make the sleeves, we have our, here is the beginning of the sleeve that we made with the raglan. And then we take our yarn skeins and we'll attach with the slip knot. I'll make a slip knot, insert my hook. And then we will attach the yarn here down. So first we need to see if we have what side we have out. So it's the side, so we will work like that. So then we will attach the yarn here on the right side. So I'll fold it so I see this where we made our chains. And then I attach the yarn here in the middle with the slip stitch. Like that, and I chained 1. Then we will just crochet around the armhole here. So here it will be one stitch per stitch, and then here it will be around 1 stitch per stitch there as well. But then here in the corners, it's like that bit. There you can adjust the number of stitches if needed. But just start to make double crochet around, counting at the same time. You can first count these so you know how many stitches to add here. So continue all the way around and then join to the first stitch with the slip stitch, just like you did when you worked it around here. And then after a few rounds we will start to make decreases, and I'll show you how those are done. And it's time for our first decrease row. More around. So first we insert our hook here in the first stitch and pull up, so we have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through both of those 2 loops, or 2 of the loops, and then yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2 of the loops, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So we made a double crochet 2 together. Then we'll just make normal double crochet around the edge until our 2 final stitches. flatten that, those two, and then we will again make double crochet 2 together, just like we did here, and then join to the first stitch. So that's how you make a decrease round.